Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Praise be to Allah, the most beneficial, the most merciful, and the peace and blessings be upon His final Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, inshallah, we start from what we have stopped last time. We mentioned in the book the correct belief and what opposes it, which is written by Imam Abdul Aziz ibn Baz, that this book is based on explaining and clarifying the 5 pillars of Iman, which are belief in Allah, His angels, His books, His messengers, the last day, and the divine pre-decree. Today we start with belief in Allah, or faith in Allah. And what does it mean? And what does it entail? He said first, faith in Allah entails believing that He is the only true God that has right to be worshipped apart from everyone else, due to His being the Creator. Here he said that Allah is the only one true God, and this is why He has right to be worshipped, and all the other deities, all the other gods which are worshipped all over the world are false gods, and none of them deserves to be worshipped, because Allah is the creator of the heavens. Allah is the creator of all His servants, the 2 species, jinn and ins. The one who is kind to them, the grantor of their sustenance, the all-knower of their inner and outer actions. All these things, Allah does them alone, and no one can do any one of these things. No one can know the inner and the outer actions of every human being or every creation. The one who is all able to reward those who obey Him and punish those who disobey Him. Allah created those 2 species, the jinn and the mankind, for the purpose of this worship. He says, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. This is chapter under the name Az-Zariyat, verse number 58. And I did not create the jinn and the mankind except to worship me, and I do not seek any provision from them, nor that they should feed me. Here we can understand that belief in Allah entails to worship Allah alone. This is because He's the creator. This is because He's the only one who looks after His creations and all of the deities that are worshipped. Some people, as we said last time, worship stones. Some others worship grave sites. You see, I mean, even they call themselves Muslims, but still they worship grave sites. They think those people or saints or the good worshippers who have died many years ago, they think that these people can be something like mediators between them and Allah. They can think that submission to these pious people or saints will get them closer to Allah. So they supplicate to them, they submit to them, they ascribe them as partners to Allah, so as to get them closer to Allah. And this is what Allah calls it shirk, or calls it disbelief. And the disbelievers who were at the time of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ have the same thing as the people do at this time. They ascribe partners to Allah, thinking that these partners are so closer to Allah, and when they supplicate to them, when they submit to them, they get them closer to Allah. The same thing happens today. The contemporary polytheists, or the people who are considered as disbelievers nowadays, even though they call themselves as Muslims, they consider themselves as Muslims, but they commit the same kind of shirk which is committed, which is performed in the first days of the disbelievers at the time of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. At that time, our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam called them mushrikeen or disbelievers because they did the same thing which is done nowadays. So that you have to be careful about these things. Don't worship anyone beside Allah. Don't submit to anyone beside Allah. You have to single Allah out alone with all of your worship. Establishing prayers, seeking refuge, asking, doing prayers, and whatever kind of ibadah, you have to single Allah out and worship Allah alone. Never ascribe any partners to Allah. This is the most important thing. This is the most important thing in Islam. So I know that some of the preachers of Islam and call themselves du'at all over the world, many people who call themselves as du'at to Islam, preachers for Islam, they simplify this issue, thinking that it is not so important to call people to single Allah out alone with all the work. They think that it's not so important. But you have to be careful, because Allah created all of us, even jinn and ins, and all of us created us for this thing. So if you commit any shirk in ibadah, in what Allah wants you to worship Him alone, this will be a disbelief, and you will be one of the losers in the life hereafter. So I advise myself and all of the audience that you have to be careful about this. Watch out, read carefully, and learn about Islam and the correct belief and what opposes it. Thank you very much. Inshallah, next time we'll meet.